9, graph and solve quadratic inequalities. So we're graphing inequalities just like we did before, except now they're parabolas. And if you know they have less than or greater than, there's a dotted line. The less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's a solid line, things you need to remember. And you graph them just like we graphed before. So if you have y is less than or equal to negative x squared plus 2x plus 3, this is standard form. To find the vertex, you take x equals the opposite of b over 2a. Well, that's going to be negative 2. The negative's from here, so b is 2, over 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2 over negative 2, which is just a positive 1. So that means in my vertex, 1 is my x value, but I still have to find the y portion. So to find the y portion, you assume y is equal to your standard form, x squared, negative x squared plus 2x plus 3, and you fill in y equals negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 3, right? So this negative is on the outside, by the way, so it's y equals negative 1 plus 2 plus 3, which it will give you 4. So that is the 4 of your vertex. So the vertex is 1, and you know right here, because this is negative, it's going to open down. At this point, to finish this, you make a T-chart, x, y. You put 1, 4. We're going to put 0 here. We're going to put 2 here. When you plug in and put 0 in, you get 3. All right? And I'm going to show you this. Give me a second. Let me move my screen a little bit. Need some space. So when we plug in, we're assuming it's equal right now. Don't worry, we'll get to the less than in a minute. You say negative 0 squared plus 2 times 0 plus 3. This all goes away. Y is 3. That's how we got the 3 right here. Then, when you plug in the 4, it's y equals negative. I lied, not a 4, 2. I'm doing the squaring in my head. 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus 3. This will give you y equals. Now the 2 squared is 4, but this negative is on the outside. Negative 4 plus 4 plus 3. So you get y equals 3. So this is 3 also. So you know you're at 0, 3, and 2, 3. You can plug in more if you wanted, but for the sake of time, we're going to leave this. Because there is an equal sign, it is a solid line. Right? Solid line. Then, we're going to the y-intercept, which is right about here. This is your y-intercept. You put your finger on it. I put a yellow dot on it. And we want to know y's that are less than. Where are y's that are less than? They're down. That means the inside of this parabola will be shaded the whole way. Inside. And there you are with that one. Pause is necessary. This again is in standard form. But the standard form is, let me get black, y is greater than x squared plus 0x minus 2. If you need to know your vertex, you need to put in 0x. So find your vertex, x equals the opposite of b over 2a, which is the opposite of 0 over 2 times 1, which is just giving you 0. So for your vertex, we're putting in 0, we're finding y. So assuming this is equal for a minute, we plug in 0. 0 squared minus 2, y is negative 2. So your vertex is here. Make your T-chart, x, y, 0, 2. Put in negative 1, put in 1, put in 2, put in negative 2. And you just fill in. So y equals negative 2 squared minus 2, which is y equals 4 minus 2, which is y equals 2. Really small. Put in negative 1. Y equals negative 1 squared minus 2. Y equals 1 minus 2. Y equals negative 1. If I were to put in a positive 2, 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. If I were to put in a positive 1, positive 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So now we simply plot our points. Here we go. -2, 2, -1, -1. Oh, I forgot my negative right here. 0, -2, 1, -1, and 2, 2. Now, this is not a solid line because there's no equal sign right here. No equal sign. So you make a dotted line. This is how I make a dotted line. Not the perfect way, but I just dot myself up like this because it's easier for me this way. So it is a dotted line. Then shading. We put our finger on the vertex. Here's the vertex. I made it yellow. And y is greater than the y's that are bigger or larger are up here. So the inside of this is shaded. Let's do the next problem. Here you're doing 2 of them. Alright, so you have to graph both of them. The first one I will graph in blue. And if you notice, it is this equation. Look, y is greater than x squared minus 2. Y is greater than x squared minus 2. So you know your vertex is 0, -2. You know your t-chart is -2 to -1, -1, 0, -2, 1, -1, and 2, 2. So you already know this, and we already graphed it. We already know the inside shaded. So I'm just going to graph it again. Got it. And then I know that the inside of this is shaded. And then, if you have this one, if you look back, it's your very first problem. So your t-chart is 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3. So your t-chart is 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3. This is your vertex, and it was a solid line, so you know. So 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you had 0, 3, and you had 1, 3, and it was solid, and it looked like this. Right? These are the first 2 graphs. And then you knew that we were shaded in there. But what you need to know, just like other inequalities, is the only place it really works is where it's together in here. So this is the piece that it works out. All of it shaded. And this is where the solutions are to both inequality and quadratic problems. So let's do another one. These ones are new, and you're going to have to graph each of them in shade. They're in standard form, so the first one, which is going to be the blue one. So y is less than -x squared plus 3. So for find our vertex, we take the opposite of b. Now here b is 0x. Right? So the opposite of 0 over 2 times a, which is just going to give you 0. So for my vertex, you have 0, and you have to find y. All right, let's find y by plugging back in. We're going to set this equal just for the vertex. So 0 squared plus 3, y is going to be 3. So my vertex is the blue. 3. 0, 3. Then you have to come up with a t-chart, and we're going to plug in. So 0, 3, let's put in -1, +1, and -2, and +2. So we're going to say y equals -2 squared plus 3, which is y equals -4 plus 3, because -2 squared is 4, but this negative lives on the outside, so y equals -1. So then we plug in y equals -1 squared plus 3, which is y equals this negative. -1 squared is 1 plus 3, so y will equal 2. Because of symmetry, I can say 2 and -1, also because I know that if I put in a positive 2 is 4, the negative's on the outside, positive 1 gives me 1, negative on the outside gives me the same answer. So I can graph this, and it is a dotted line because there's no equal sign. So 0, 1, 2, 3, we know it's negative, so it's going to open down. So negative 2, negative 1, negative 1, 2, 1, 2, and 2, negative 1. We know that we're going to open down. Right? Little arrows at the end. And I'm going to shade this in blue so you know just slightly. And it's y is less than. So on the y-axis, it's all the numbers less than. So it's simply down here. Right? Then my next problem I will do in red. That one's a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. And I was going to, wait a second. So let's just try it in red. So you have the vertex of a red problem, which is this one. So the opposite of B, which is negative 3, over 2 times A, which is 2, and ugly fraction, 3/4. That's okay. We're going to plug in and see what we get for the vertex. Here we are. So y equals 2 times the negative 3/4 squared plus 3 times 3/4 minus 2. All right. So y equals 2 times the positive 9/16 plus 9/4 minus 2. So y equals 18/16. If I multiply this by a 4/4, I'm getting a common denominator. And I'm going to multiply this by a 16/16 to get a common denominator. So this is going to be plus 36/16 minus what? 32/16. We'll see how that all works out for me. So when we have, you need the calculator, 18 plus 36 minus 32 gives you a 22. So you're left with a 22/16. All right, which we can reduce to 11/8. So ugly, but my vertex is here, and it's a negative 3/4 and 11/8. Not pretty, not pretty. You might want to get a calculator, use some decimals. And it's okay. Just double checking my math. Up to 2, 8, good. 9/16, 3/4, 9/4, 32, 6. Okay, looks good. So then we're gonna need to. I don't need that. I did want to kind of grab some of this. Wait a second. Or knife fighting. Let's go back. You're going to have to get myself some space, and I'm going to make a T-chart. Now, negative 3/4 and 11/8. Ugly. Sorry. But to get the same distance away, we are going to, well, we don't necessarily have the same distance, but if we get a 0 here, like a negative 2 there, we'll see, for x and for y. We'll use symmetry graph. If you plug in 0, 0 is the easiest one. Y equals 2 times 0 squared plus 3 times 0 minus 2. So y is just going to equal negative 2. All right. Now if you plug in negative 2, y equals 2 times negative 2 squared plus 3 times negative 2 minus 2. This is going to be 2 times 4 minus 6 minus 2. So this is 8 minus 6 minus 2, which is 0. Oh, how about that? Now, 11/8, by the way, guys, is 1 and what?